This is Earth, or at least it was. Now it's stuck in an endless winter, frozen and forgotten. Don't worry though, humanity lives on in space, at least for now. Resources are running short, and it's only a matter of time before what's left of society collapses or starves. So here's the plan. We're going back to Earth, setting up a base, and reclaiming lost knowledge, all with the hope that one day we can farm on the frozen soil. If we fail, everyone starves. So let's get to work. This is the Winter Rescue. Guess what? Double Cells on Spotify. It's the same content you know and love. Ad-free for premium users, perfect for binging uninterrupted. Just thought I'd let you know. Welcome back. As you can tell, not much has changed since your last visit. Better close the door. We're letting all the heat out. No, I've been stuck here. Snowstorms still blowing. We're still, I'm still right where you left me. In this cabin, in the middle of nowhere, on a frozen, icy planet. Although just because I'm stuck, that doesn't mean I've been unproductive. We got pets, a small stockpile of food, a few machines, and above all else, fire. But there's still so much more we can do if we want to defrost this world, and now that the blizzard is retreating, I think it's time to get back to work. And we better be quick about it because I need food. All of this other cool stuff is gonna have to wait. I can't work if I can't eat. That's right. We also have this machine, our generator. A tool that's supposed to defrost this frozen ground so we can grow crops. I'm gonna go ahead and dismantle the whole thing. For some reason, I have yet to get it to work, even though we have everything we need. Although, someone did make a suggestion. We have the room. Let's see if this actually works now. I hope it works. And there it is. Now I've run into a little bit of a food shortage, so we're gonna have to stretch out all of our supplies. We can't use the traditional recipe to make bread. We're gonna have to add a filler element, sawdust. Desperate times call for desperate measures. This gives you none other than black bread. It may not be the tastiest, but it sure is filling, and that's what counts. So one thing I'd like to point out is that I've gone ahead and moved the generator that we had over here. In an attempt to get it to work, I put it inside of this cave. The idea was that the generator, when active outside, was generating heat, yes, but that heat was going to waste, being dispersed out into the open air. So, what if we were to take the generator and put it in an enclosed space, like this cave I made? Well, naturally, you'd think that the heat would be trapped inside, converting any type of mud into dirt. Well, that didn't happen. We were still stuck with mud, the same problem we found ourselves in the last video. But then it occurred to me, what if that machine's purpose was to just keep the dirt from freezing? Not to revive it, but to maintain it. And that's when I saw this. The description for dirt. Abundant in microorganisms, perfect for farming. When it freezes into permafrost, it loses its microorganisms. The frost kills all the nutrients that our crops need. When you look at the description of mud, it confirms my fear that just because you defrost the dirt and turn it into mud, that doesn't mean you can farm with it. We need those microorganisms, which is why I've been making this biomass. It's the type of nutrients our mud is missing to convert it back into dirt. So for old time's sake, let's go ahead and start this thing up. It's powered on. We'll add the mud, which, like I said, is useless when we try to till it. But if we put the biomass in our offhand, and then we till the mud, ladies and gentlemen, we have dirt. We have dirt! So like I said, this isn't for making dirt. This is just to keep it from freezing, which means it's gonna have to continuously run, at least so long as we want to keep farming. We've gone and restored the nutrients to the mud, making it dirt. Let's go ahead and plant these turnips. Hopefully they grow fast, because we need food. I wonder if they need water. All we have to do now is leave it alone until they're done. So while we're waiting for the crops to grow, it's time to start looking towards our more industrial tasks. We were making a boiler, the ultimate source of steam power for all of our machines. Now, the boiler machine setup is pretty large and our space is very limited, so it's time to expand our house. Are you enjoying the video? If you are, leave a like and a hype. That way I can keep making more videos. Good morning. it is day 71. Let's take a look at our progress here. So, we've built an extension for the house. This extension is going to house our boiler machine along with any other contraption we conjure up. It's basically a big warehouse. Nothing fancy. I was going to build a wraparound porch on the outside, but I ended up running out of wood. Yeah, we're a little limited on the wood we can use because, well, trees don't grow. Well, they have grown, but we can't replant them for some reason. So now that we have the proper space to build, let's go ahead and start relocating some of our items. We have a boiler to create. So the contraption for this boiler design seems pretty straightforward. We have our water right here, which is going to pump into the boiler. We'll set this off in a corner right here. And then there were some fluid pipes, I believe. Wait, I forgot to add the pump. Let's put the pump right here. And then this pipe will connect down into the bronze boiler, like that. Then we'll put our burning chamber. This is the fuel. Coal's going to go in here. Next, we're going to need a bronze steam engine. That and a bronze flywheel. Looks like we're going to have to do a little homework before we can craft this block. It's been a little over a month since I've tackled one of these, so let's see if I still got it. Alright, where would we find it? Here? Steamworks, yeah, right here, okay. So we're going to want to figure this out. So this is going to unlock the steam engine, the flywheel, and then the same two blocks but with different variations of material. We have to commit 32 bronze sheets, 12 bronze ingots, and what is this? Cast iron? I've never seen such an expensive recipe. All I have are 42 of these things. Okay, well, I'm in the process of making more bronze right now. We have some copper smelting in here, and then we'll take the existing that we have already and combine it with our tin to make bronze. In the meantime, while that's cooking up, let's go ahead and actually work on what we can. We have to compact these bronze ingots. Let's go ahead and use our mechanical press for that. Alright, so we'll set aside 12 ingots because we need that for the recipe. Then the rest go into the basin. Here we go. We have 20 sheets. We're down by 12, so let's go check on our copper. Alright, 32. Now we're in business. We also have to acquire cast iron, which you get by putting iron in a blast furnace. How are my iron supplies doing? They're not doing too hot. We're gonna have to get more of that as well, but with the little that we do have, let's go ahead and start processing that too. Thank you very much. Let's put you in there. Alright, same process for the cast iron. We're just going to smash this and get ourselves some sheets. There we go. So let's go ahead and commit these to the research table. And now, it's time to research. So, we'll have to finish the common paper, that's the funny little puzzle, and then we have to examine a bronze burning chamber and a bronze boiler. Alright, I believe that is, yeah, right here, these blocks. I better not consume them. It's going to be a problem if it consumes them, because this thing is just ripping me off left and right. The moment you've all been waiting for, the puzzle. Here we go. First try. Not bad at all. And now we can craft our stuff. Only we have to get the materials again, because it just sucked it all up. We have the recipes, which means we can do this. Craft ourselves a bronze steam engine. And, of course, the flywheel. So, making the steam engine is going to be a little more complicated than I thought because we need a mechanical crafter. Now, what is a mechanical crafter? It's this thing. A very expensive block which we don't have access to yet because we have yet to research it. Essentially, a mechanical crafter is a very large crafting table. One that can automatically combine items for you to make new things. Of course, at the cost of rotational power, which we have very little of because we don't even have an engine yet. Thankfully, there are some avenues we can take to get there, but first, a little more research. The first thing we're going to study is the construction of logic circuits, or electron tubes. We'll have to commit quartz and redstone, and now that I think of it, we have yet to find any quartz. We're going to have to take some smooth sandstone and grind it down in a millstone. So we have the sandstone in here being smelted into smooth sandstone, and we got all of this from our sand permafrost. Speaking of permafrost, I forgot that we have vegetables growing. Don't want them to freeze. Let's see. They have not grown at all. What? It's been days and they haven't grown at all. Look at that, 0%. Is this the secret to growing turnips? and they need sunlight. Maybe the cave isn't the option then. They need sunlight to grow. There's no sunlight in here. Of course. All right. I'm gonna dismantle this once and for all. Taking my dirt back. Stupid technicalities. God. We're 70 days in and we can't even grow a vegetable. They got dirt. They're, well, they're not out in the sun, but they're outside. Just grow. Looks like our sandstone is done. Here's hoping we get a single piece of quartz. Maybe 2. 10 pieces. Not bad, not bad. 10 pieces we can work with. And then we have some redstone here, which means we can commit them to our research table here. Let's go ahead and do that. The first thing we have to examine is polished rose quartz. One of the more familiar processes if you've watched a double sal video, although it's easier to do when you have more than 3 pieces of redstone. So, it's that time of day again. To the mines. No way! Naturally occurring dirt? Hold on. We're mining this. We are taking this back to base. This is worth its weight in gold. So I was just wandering looking for a cave entrance when I stumbled across this, and I can't believe it. 19 blocks. Look at that. I also found this massive deposit of sand here. Previously, we were having to go under the riverbed to dig up sand, but now, look at that. It's just right at our doorstep. Perfect for getting more quartz. I'll help myself to some of this as well. Whoa. What kind of biome is this? This is all bauxite? This whole thing is bauxite. This is just one massive aluminum mountain. This must be a terracotta biome. Or the Badlands biome, as some people say. I didn't know that there were still biomes in here. I mean, looking at the map, you'd never be able to tell, but this is a Badlands biome. And this is a cave, although my pickaxe is on the verge of breaking because I feel the need to collect every other piece of material that I encountered. Like this copper! Oh my god. I'll have to be a little more careful. What are the odds we find some redstone right now? Better yet, what are the odds of us finding redstone before my pickaxe breaks? We gotta be quick about this because I think there's something wrong with the oxygen. I think it's because I'm deep in the cave and I don't have air, but I'm taking damage as if I was drowning. Yeah, what is this? Silver? I'll take silver. Oh, you know what? Let's go. It's time to go. Oh, wait a minute. I'm thirsty. That's what it is. And these have not grown at all. Maybe we should just be carnivores. Screw the vegetables. Polish rose quartz. You place a regular quartz down, surround it with 8 redstone dust, and there you have it. Rose quartz. I said polished because you gotta polish it next. And for that we'll need paper. Sandpaper. Alright, for that we'll need paper. Let's go ahead and throw in some water, add some sawdust, and then we'll throw on some clay as well. Alright, so that should make us some paper pulp. We'll just take 2 for now, and then we hang them out to dry. And now we have paper. Mix it together, and voila. Sandpaper. All you have to do is put the rose quartz in your offhand, have the sandpaper in your main hand, then you file away until you're left with something beautiful. This is polished rose quartz, which we can now examine at our desk. Perfect. Alright, now we have the means of making these electron tubes. The recipe is very simple. 1 polished rose quartz and 1 iron sheet. We'll hold off on making those until we have to make our crafter, because now we're going to make a casing. And not just any type of casing. A brass casing. Which means once again we'll have to combine copper and zinc to make brass. Oh, I say once again, but I don't think we've actually done that before. At least, not in this mod pack. And we wait. That's a big part of this pack. Waiting. Well, that didn't take long. Alright, we have brass for the first time ever. I thought we had made it before, but now that we have it, all we have to do is take it, right-click a stripped oak log, and that gives us a brass casing. Research complete. Mechanical manufacturing. Ladies and gentlemen, the recipe for the mechanical crafter. Crafting table, brass casing, electron tube, and there you have it. 3 mechanical crafters, but we're not stopping at 3. We're gonna take, is 12 enough? It may not be enough. I think we're gonna have to make more than that, but let me show you what it's gonna look like. So, we'll just place it against this wall here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then we'll just put the rest over here. We'll probably need 6 more for a complete crafting interface. Now, the reason you want such a large crafting interface is because these recipes are fairly large. Let me show you. We're going to be making a bronze steam engine, and look at that recipe. Look at all those crafting slots. You need a total of 15 slots just to make this one item. Or how about the flywheel? Look at that crafting recipe. You need, wow, what is that, 21 mechanical crafting blocks? Yeah, we're missing 6 of them, but we'll get to that eventually. The point is, these recipes are a pretty big deal. So how exactly do you use this thing? Well, we're going to follow the recipe. We're going to plug the items in. 1, 2, 3, 4. I believe we had some propellers here. But there's a problem. The items, well, they're at a standstill. How do you get them moving? You may notice that on the side of the block here, you have a cogwheel. That's right, these things need rotational power. Now, how much rotational power? Not sure. Usually in other Create mod packs, the hand crank is pretty ineffective, but here, it looks like they beefed up its power output, so maybe this will be enough to get these things going. Let's give it a try. Nope, it's overstressed. We're gonna need something a little stronger than a hand crank. Hold on. We may not need to do that. There are rewards. Oh my god. We may have just wasted materials, but it doesn't matter. Sorry, this example's gonna have to wait. Let's go plug this stuff in. Actually, no. This example doesn't have to wait. This will power the cogwheels over there. Let's give it a try. So I plug this here, like so, and then the flywheel goes... Well, not like that. How about there? Facing the wrong way. Last try. Beautiful. Look at that. The boiler is coming together. So the next part is a tad bit tedious. We're gonna have to make a couple trips because we need to fill up this tank. And, well, it's not gonna work like that. To get the water inside, I'm gonna have to craft a fluid drain. We'll need iron bars and a copper casing. Let's go ahead and put that together. And I'm not telling you that's the only way to get water in there. It's just the only way I know how to get water in there. So where is our copper? Once again, the process is simple. Strip a spruce log, right-click it with copper ingots, and there you have a copper casing. Next, it's time to craft the extremely expensive iron bars. Well, not expensive normally, just in the context of our situation. For some reason, iron has been very hard to come by. Now, we're going to take the copper casing, combine it with the iron bar, and now we have a fluid drain. Put that right there. See that little arrow? That little arrow will determine the flow of the water in the pipe. So we don't want it flowing that way, we want it flowing into the tank. Now, when we pour our stuff into the item drain, add our hand crank, rotate the pump, and there it is. The water transferred from the item drain into our fluid tank. All we have to do now is repeat this process 32 more times. Wish me luck, folks. Wait a minute! It just occurred to me there is a better way to get water in there, and it has nothing to do with the item drain. Sorry if you're following this video and you already made one. Here's what we'll do. We're gonna make ourselves an infinite water source right here. Hopefully this is deep enough. Alright, so here's the plan. This pipe is going to suck water from this pool of water. How's it going to do that? Well, we have to take the pipe and put it into the water. It's blocked. Can't step in the water right now. Let's go ahead and break these blocks. The pipe has to have a connection to the water. And then from there, all we have to do is rotate this. And hopefully, it'll siphon water from the infinite water source into the fluid tank. Let's rotate the crank and... we can tell if it's working because the water level in the tank will start rising. Take a look. You can see right through that little window the water is rising, but our infinite water source is continuously sustaining itself. We just saved ourselves hundreds, well, not hundreds, more like 32 trips from running back and forth. Alright, so we have plenty of water in there. It's full, but not quite there. Good enough, though. Now, all we need is something to burn to get this thing rotating. We'll go ahead and borrow this chest. This will act as the storage for our fuel. Now all we need is a simple hopper feeding into the bronze burning chamber. And here is our hopper. We'll connect that right there. And I think we're ready to go. Let's go ahead and give this a test here. We have some coal coke. I'll just go ahead and add this to our item hopper. And all we have to do now is turn on the water. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give this a try. Check it out, the steam level is rising. We need more water though. Let's keep feeding this thing water. So I assume that the steam power has to reach its max capacity? Why isn't the steam funneling into this? Oh, I think it's connected to the wrong thing. Uh-oh. Hold on. That better not explode. It was simply a matter of how I had the blocks placed. So, we have our bronze steam engine connected to the bronze boiler. The flywheel is connected to the steam engine. And because there's steam coursing through the engine, it's rotating the flywheel, making the rotational power we need for our machines. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a steam engine. Alright, so we're finally going to connect our mechanical crafters to our steam engine. Let's go ahead and do that. I got some more material, so now we have the full set here. So for the sake of demonstration, I've gone ahead and dismantled the setup we had over here. We only have 4 of these tiles connected to our steam engine because I'm pretty sure that if I connected all of them, this thing would be overstressed and this wouldn't be powered. Let me show you how it works. We're going to plug in 4 of these wooden planks. And now all we have to do is power the steam engine on and, well, you'll see the magic happen. Alright, we'll go ahead and add some coal coke. Turn on the water. And as you can see... Oh, darn, I didn't mean to do that. As you can see, the blocks are being fused together. And that's it. You have yourself a nice crafting table. We're going to do this at a much larger scale. But for that, we're going to have to add more of these crafters. And we may have to upgrade the steam engine as well. One thing to note is that I've gone ahead and moved some of these furnaces inside. I just got really tired of running back and forth between builds. Okay, let's go ahead and automate this even more. We're going to take this casing, surround it with cogs, and make a gearbox. Now that we have the gearbox, we'll go ahead and hook it up right here. Hopefully this will work. We'll place some shafts, and then finally a large cogwheel there. The idea is that once we jumpstart this, the flywheel will start spinning, which in turn will rotate this cogwheel, allowing more water to flow in because it's going to be powering the pump. And, well, we all know what pumps do with water, so let's see if we can make an infinite loop. After that, it would only be dependent on how much fuel we add, if that makes sense. Let's see here. All right. And I think we need to give it more water. There we go. So now it's essentially infinite. Well, no. Like I said, it's limited by how much fuel we have, plus we have to keep pumping water into this tank right here, because as you can see, the water level is dropping drastically. I wonder if we can connect this to that. I'm sure we can. Okay, it's a little ugly, but this may work. So I had to extend the pool because I had to change the orientation of the pump so that it's aligned with this cogwheel. Oh, nope. Overstressed. Of course. Oh, wait, no. No, it's working. It's working like a charm. Look at that. Let me add some more fuel. Don't want to see a burnout too quickly. So we're not generating that much steam because this isn't burning that hot. I wonder how we can get it to burn hotter. Unless we add another burning chamber? Is that a thing? On top of that, this has a stress capacity of 736. It's not very high either. Well, at least our fluid tank is full now. Running out of water won't be a problem. Now, the problem is our steam. We're not making enough steam. So we can increase efficiency, but for that we're going to have to put a pump right here. This, put the pump right there, and this is going to force the steam out of the bronze boiler. Because according to the diagram, our machine isn't efficient unless we're pumping steam into the engine. Put our flywheel there. Let's test this now. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. There we go. Now we're moving. So this was at like 700 and now it's at 1,000. I'll take that. We're at 1,000 now. We finally have our steam engine on loop running at max efficiency. At least I think it's max efficiency. Now we have to solve the problem of fuel. Yeah, we're gonna run out of fuel fast. I only have a stack of coal and, well, 19 left. But we can squeeze more out of our coal coke. If we want to keep powering our steam engine, then we're going to have to revert back to this old chart. Right now, the ultimate goal is to make something called a coal briquette. Something we've contemplated before, though at the time we didn't have the means. I'm talking about the mechanical press. But now that we do have a mechanical press, this changes things. Not only do we have the press, but we have the means to power it. This is going to be the ugliest Create Mod setup ever, but it's okay. We have to do it. It's not supposed to go there. This goes here, that goes up there, and now we don't have to turn a crank anymore to get this working. Here's what we're gonna do. If you take a look at each fuel source, the game will tell you how many items your fuel can smelt. Like this piece of coal, it smelts 8 items. Or a piece of charcoal, which smelts 4. Up to this point, we've been using coal coke, which smelts up to 16 items. That's pretty good for one piece of fuel. But what if we could stretch this out even further? You take the coal coke, grind it into coke dust, which on its own smelts 18 items. But if we were to combine the coke dust with some creosote oil, pack it together with our press, you get something called coal briquette. Now on its own, this briquette's not that impressive. One piece only smelts 6.5 items. But if we cook it up, we get a regular coal briquette. And unlike the coal coke, which smelts 16 items, the coal briquette smelts 9 items. But here's where it gets interesting. See the single piece of coal coke dust? It gives you 3 of the briquettes. So in reality, we're not getting 1 piece of fuel that smelts 9 items, but 3 pieces of fuel which when combined will smell 27, all for the cost of 1 dust, or 1 coal coke. Sorry if that's hard to follow, but what I'm trying to say is that we're just going to take this and multiply it. We have our barrel of creosote oil that I brought in from outside. I've also gone ahead and connected our millstone here, that way we can grind up our coal coke. And now the contraption comes to life. We're grinding up our coal coke dust. And now that we have it, let's go ahead and dump it into our basin. And ladies and gentlemen, we have ourselves 6 creosoted coal briquettes, making 9. Oh my goodness, the fuel just doesn't stop. Look at this. We are in business. All right, it's time for step 2. We have to cook them in a fire. Now, we're not going to use a furnace because that's going to use up too much fuel. That would be a little counterintuitive. No, instead we're going to smoke the entire batch in less than 10 seconds. And to do that, we'll need a campfire. Well, that and an industrial-grade fan. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the encased fan. The means of us cooking all of our briquettes. Where do we put it? That's a good question. Well, we could put it here. So, the idea is that once we place the campfire down and we get the fan going, the fan is going to blow all of the air over the campfire, making it hot air. And that hot air is going to blow directly over our creosoted coal briquettes, converting them into the regular coal briquettes. I think it's easier if I just show you. Alright, the engine's running, and why did it stop? Did we run out of steam? Alright, we're in business. We got this thing running, the fan is blowing. Let's go ahead and place our campfire. Naturally, the campfire is not lit, so let's go ahead and light that. Alright, we'll start this campfire. We got 479 seconds. Time to jumpstart this one last time. Hot air is blowing. You can tell it's hot because it's all smoky. Let's dump in our creosoted briquettes. And in no time, this should smelt them all into the coal briquettes we need. There we go. Oh, so much better than using a furnace. I love it. And that's essentially it. Our entire fuel-making process. Hopefully, we can exploit this to the point where we don't have to worry about fuel running out ever again. Oh, and I almost forgot to show you. Here it is. Our coal briquettes. Aren't they amazing? And this should be the last batch right here. 3 stacks of fuel and some change. Ladies and gentlemen, we won't have to worry about fuel for a long time. Ow, ow, ooh, ow. Don't do what I just did. Now that we've automated some of our machines, it's time to go check on our vegetables. Let's go see if they've grown at all. And... oh, look at that! The turnips are showing progress, although this isn't burning anymore. Good thing we already have some fuel, though. So let's just dump that in there, and all these things better keep growing. Actually, no. Let's save the fuel. There's a heat spell coming. Hopefully, when the heat spell arrives, these things will grow a little faster because, well, I'm out of food. Yeah, that's right. I am officially out of food. No, I'm not. I have 7 berries left. There's still hope. Wait a minute. We can probably speed up the process of the vegetable growth with bone meal. And now that we have grindstone, we can get tons of bone meal. In the past, we were smashing bones with a hammer over a tree stump to get 1 bone meal. But now that we have the power of automation, we can get up to 3 bone meal plus an additional 3 at a 25% chance. Let's do that. After all, we do have the fuel to pull it off. Go, go, go! Give me the bone meal! Seriously, we really need it. Well, that's doing its thing. Let's go see if this is actually going to work now, because I remember trying to use bone meal last time, and it wasn't very effective. Well, looks like that's the case again. What a waste. Wait a minute, we can use the bone meal to make something called Basic Growth Accelerator. Organic fertilizer to moderately boost growth speed. It causes the crop to grow 2 times faster? We need 2 bone meal, some ash, and what's this? dung or night soil. We can also use biomass. Where do we get dung from? Well, I know where dung comes from, obviously, but how do we get it in-game? You know what? We'll just have to substitute the dung for biomass. Thankfully, we have lots of vines and a means of automating their crushing. Alright, so from a stack, we got 23 biomass. It's not a lot, but we're going to multiply this right now. So we're going to take the biomass, and we're going to dump it into this basin here. Let's go ahead and dump that in there. We also have our bone meal, and then on top of that, we have some water. Let's go ahead and add the water, and then our bone meal. Why isn't it working? Oh, it's got to be a mixer. Okay, we can do that. So essentially, you combine biomass with bone meal and water. Couldn't tell you what the ratios are, but as long as you have bone meal, biomass, and water, you should be set. And it's not spinning fast enough. Of course it's not. Why isn't it mixing? Oh, I forgot, we need ash. It's not just biomass and bone meal, you need ash. Think we have ash here somewhere. We have one piece of ash. Go. There it is. There it is. Basic yield booster. Wait, no, that's not what we want. Whoa, 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 that's not what we want. This is not what we wanted. I wanted the growth accelerator. Let's try it again. 1 ash, 2 bone meal, 2 biomass. Make that 3 biomass. There it is, growth accelerator. Goodness. Let's add a filter there so it only makes growth accelerator. Yeah, I'm satisfied with this. We can work with this. So we have 30 basic yield boosters and 36 basic growth accelerators. Won't lie, I didn't mean to produce that, but we have them both. I wonder if we can stack them. Better yet, I wonder if we can apply them to crops that have already been planted. You can! Look at that! And what if we add this? Oh, I don't think they stack, actually. So now we wait a little longer? There's also an advanced variation. For this one, you need slag, nitrate, and this material, crushed raw sylvite. Where the heck do you get sylvite from? I don't know. This'll do for now. Wait a minute, why am I just realizing there's a whole section dedicated to farming? Look at all the stuff there is. Oh, on top of the growth accelerator, we have something called straw mulch. An organic layer to moderately preserve soil temperature. Basically gives us a little more room to grow our crops despite the cold temperature. Let's go make that too. It's pretty cheap. Oh my gosh, I didn't realize how close I am to starving. We have to eat something. Rye flour. No, packed nuts. We'll eat the packed nuts. I forgot to boil my water and paid the price for it. I'm going to die. Wait a minute, I'm not going to die. I have mushrooms. Yeah, I have mushrooms. Hold on. This isn't coping. This is being resourceful. Please tell me that this recipe works. No, it doesn't work. How do I make stew? I can't make it. The crafting recipe won't reveal itself. Don't tell me I have to study how to make it. Okay, guess we're eating more sawdust bread for dinner. Alright folks, we're down to our last 11 pieces of bread. If we can't grow a vegetable before we run out of bread, we're done. It's over. We have to grow something. Lucky for us, we do have some beetroot seeds. No, wait, this is hemp seeds. It's not looking too good. Wait a minute. I forgot. We have to make this. This is going to keep our crops warm. The mulch. Aha! Wait, is this going to slow down the growth accelerator? I don't really know if these things stack. Wait a minute. Rye. We have a seed bag, but this one is labeled rye, and the seed bag we have is just labeled random seeds. How are we supposed to open this? Unless we don't open it, unless we plant it. No, that's not how it works. Oh my goodness. I can't believe my entire fate's determined on whether or not I know how to open a seed bag. And the JEI doesn't tell you either. Our last hope are these 10 frozen seeds. Alright, here we go. Let's see what we get. Come on, something good. Carrots. Oh my goodness, okay. I think we're saved. Give me some rye. One of those is rye, and one of those is beetroot. Oh my goodness, look at all those achievements. We still have 2 more seeds. Come on, something good. And there it is. Alright, we have melon seeds, pumpkin seeds, flax seeds, rye, 3 carrots, some beetroots, and more of these useless torch flower seeds. Let's go ahead and plant these rye seeds, because according to the guide, rye is one of the most frost-resistant crops we can grow. Rye. Yeah, if you look at the guide here, it says that rye can grow at 2 degrees Celsius. It's negative 1 degree Celsius, so let's go ahead and add some mulch. That way it can stay nice and toasty and start growing. We also have our heat spell. Oh, I think crops are going to grow now. We'll take our basic growth accelerator and dump it on. Alright, it's been about a day, and it looks like we have a little crop growth. But not much since we last planted the seeds, so it's time to utilize another tool so that we can have a better idea of the status of our plants. That's it. Ladies and gentlemen, that little thing that you see there is called a soil thermometer. Something that we have to research. It lets you see the temperature of the soil. It'll tell us the growing status of our plants, and not just its progress, but whether or not it's growing at all. So let's go do a little bit of studying, and hopefully we'll make some progression. God, I've never played a mod pack where the biggest challenge was growing a carrot. I want to move on, and I hate this task. Soil. There you are. Precision manufacturing technology. Oh, I think we're gonna have to make a precision mechanism, and that's that gold item right here. So I had to go back down into the mines. There was some redstone that I needed, and while I was down there I discovered a massive cave. We're gonna go back down there so you can see it, but for now let's go ahead and make some more electron tubes. The reason we need electron tubes is because in order for us to study precision manufacturing, we have to submit 4 of them, along with any type of cogwheel plus the puzzle that we all know. Now that we have our steam engine, we can go ahead and grind up the smooth sandstone to get the quartz we need. Isn't automation amazing? So now that we have our electron tubes, let's go ahead and submit those. Done. So to make a precision mechanism, we need an electron tube, 2 cogwheels, a shaft, and what is that? Oh, it's just brass. Or we can also do it in a recipe sequence. Looks a little less expensive, although it does come at the cost of all these brand new machines. Well, I wasn't planning on having this be another Create Mod video, but it seems like that's where most mod packs like to take it these days, because it's so resource heavy. We're gonna have to go mining, but that means I can show you the cave I found. Believe me when I say this is not your typical run-of-the-mill cave. I was pretty surprised when I found it. You'll see what I mean right now. Here we are. And what's special about it? Well, not sure if you can make it out, but out in the distance there is an entire mineshaft complex. All we have to do is figure out how to get down safely. Use a water bucket, but water in this mod pack is lethal. We just have to find one of the walls and mine down through there. And we're here! Lovely. And what are we greeted by? Some redstone. Alright, we have a lot of ground to cover. It's time to sprint around and place torches. There are worse things than spiders. Oh my god! Speaking of! I don't know what it is with this mod pack, but it's so creeper heavy. That should do it. So, we need redstone, pyrite for some reason, which I've just discovered actually gives you iron. Seriously, look at that. Free iron. Okay, we made it out with tons of materials. Oh my goodness, do my eyes deceive me? Do we actually have crop growth? And something died here. What died here? These turnips are still taking their time. Alright, that's it. I am out of food. There is nothing left to eat here. I was gonna start working on our machines, but look, I'm about to die of hunger, so it's time to go fishing. I didn't want it to have to come to that, but here we are. We're done growing crops. I'm sick of it. I'm tired. It doesn't work. I'm just a bad farmer. Wish me luck. Alright, the fishing isn't working. It's time for Plan B. Or I guess Plan C. Plan A was the farming, Plan B was the fishing. Why is it so foggy all of a sudden? We're taking the dogs out for a ride. Well, one of the dogs. Turns out I've been using this sled wrong. You may recall that last time we used the sled, the dog wasn't pulling. Well, that's because I had him sitting down. Turns out that dogs, to actually pull a sled, they need to be standing up. Who would have guessed? So, let's try this again. Preferably somewhere where we won't get injured, like at the bottom of this riverbed. Uh-oh. Don't freeze. Don't get out of there. Oh! I'm sorry. Already off to a bad start. This guy is taking damage. Alright, so here's the plan. We are going back. Hey, where are you going? Hey, hey! We're going back to our original spawn area. There was a lot more food over there. And away we go. Look at that. We are covering so much ground here. Faster than a boat on water. We could hunt mammoth, but too difficult to kill. Wreckage? With crates, that means there's food here. Possibly food. Some berries. I'm gonna help myself to some of that. Alright, what do we have? Pickaxe, some fuel, and flint. Garbage. Disappointing. Nothing of serious value here. Guess we're just picking berries today. I think my dog's gonna die. We accidentally went into the water. I have to save him. Come on! How do I set you free? Break! Come on! Swim! Please tell me you're not sitting still. Oh no, he lived. Get out of the water! Okay. That was close. I don't mean to alarm anyone, but I think I was almost killed by a polar bear. I have to go back and see what that was. That thing almost ripped my head off. Was it a polar bear? Oh no, it's a saber-toothed tiger! Oh, and he sees me. Yeah, we'll leave him alone. I don't think you can eat those. Well, I can't believe it, but we've officially returned to the site of our first house. Look at that, it's still standing. Means it's well built. Was there anything in here we left that we could use? No, doesn't look like it. We cleared this entire place out. I didn't think food was going to be this hard to come by. I don't believe what I'm seeing right now. The world's smallest mushroom biome with actual mushroom blocks. Can you believe it? This thing survived the winter apocalypse. We're going to make a bookmark of this. We're going to call it Mushtown. Don't know why I'd need mushrooms, but good to know they're here. Oh wait, there's more of it over here. You got the brown ones. Oh, actually, this is bigger than I thought. Yeah, it's this whole section over here. Is the snow melting? You guys do notice that, right? For whatever reason, the snow is melting here. What the heck is going on here? There's got to be like a heat source nearby or something. I'm getting a really warm reading of plus 32 degrees. What could be causing all this heat? If somebody in the comments knows what this is, please let me know. I'm not sure why the ground is thawing here, but I'm sure it can be useful to us later. Oh my god, get away. Don't hurt me. Wait a minute, we can actually pull this off. If we can pull this off and this thing drops meat, we're saved. Come on. Oh, this thing did drop something. Some things. Frozen tiger meat. Yeah, we can eat that. Plus we have fat. And saber teeth. I think we may be saved. Well, my friend, we don't have much of a choice. We either kill that mammoths, or we go home empty-handed and starving. Let's do our best here. Hopefully they're not too fast. Alright, so all we have to do is keep our distance. Just, oh my god! No, they have some range. They have some serious range. Okay. There's gotta be a better way to go about this. Where are you going? Oh, I can't get close enough. But if I back off, he doesn't attack anymore. Okay, he's not agitated. I think he forgot. Yes! So we just poke and run. Wait for him to calm down. Okay, did you forget? I think you forgot again. Just can't be greedy. There we go. It's dead. And now we have more food. Check it out. We have mammoth meat, which, when cooked, is a fine source of protein. Somehow wolf meat is better for you, though? How that makes sense, I have no idea. And then we have wolves. Speak of the devil. This hunt wasn't a waste after all. Here it is, all the food we've collected, which should hold us over until we figure out the farm, which is what I thought would be the case last time, but I feel like we're close to a breakthrough. I can feel it. Who knows? We may even navigate around the traditional means of farming and go about it entirely our own way. Back to the base. Check it out. It's the old hut. And, a new creature. Wait. Hold on, dog. Hold on. Is this dinner? Mouflon. What the heck is a mouflon? It was food! Mouflon meat, nice. Then there's another wolf over here. 2 wolves. I feel really bad that we're eating dogs, but they're not really dogs, they're wolves, so I guess that makes it a little better. Plus, they're already hostile, so it's self-defense. Anyways, I'm pretty sure that we didn't loot the hut. There was stuff in there, and our inventories were full, so let's go check it out and see if we can scavenge any more supplies. Oh, and my inventory's still full. Huh. Well, we're gonna have to make something work here. What can we leave behind? We don't need this. Do we need the teeth? What do the teeth even do? They make arrowheads, and in rare cases, bone meal. I guess we can leave those too. Alright, we have 4 slots. Let's see if we can get some food. Bindings, coal coke, and more iron. Well, we can put the bindings on. These bindings, they give you plus 300 insulation, plus 40% fluid resistance, plus 60% heat resistance? Wait a minute, so this is gonna let us swim in water. What about this one? More bindings. I'm pretty sure we haven't gotten any food from this, and there's only one last package left. More iron. We'll be back for the rest of the stuff later. Well, that was a journey. And look at that. Our rye is finally grown. About time. Only took the entire 100 days. Give me that. Oh, we got 4 rye seeds from it, too. Not bad. Can we get more rye seeds? No, we can't. We're stuck with the 1 bale. These carrots aren't growing either. Yeah, they're done. We're not going to grow these. We should grow more rye, though. Seems like they can tolerate the cold. So I've gone ahead and stored the food in our de facto refrigerator, I guess. We have all of it here, which means we can survive a little longer. You may or may not recall that we were working on a precision mechanism, and we could craft it, or we could make a recipe sequence. This crafting recipe calls for 2 cogs, but this one only calls for 1. Although it is an investment because we have to craft the equipment to make it. For this to work, we'll need something called a deployer. The deployer is comprised of an electron tube, an andesite casing, and a new item. This is called a brass hand. Let's go ahead and put that together. It's fairly straightforward. Why isn't this working? Oh, wait a minute. This is bronze. The recipe calls for brass. I always confuse those two. There we go. 2 brass hands. Combine them all together, and bada bing, bada boom, we have 2 deployers. They are one of the more interesting looking create mod blocks. As you can see, we have our hands pointing outward. We can actually change their mode. Right now it's in use mode. We can also set it to attack mode. This is pretty useful if you wanted to break blocks, which we don't want. So we'll be sticking to use mode for now. Next, we'll go ahead and make a couple of depots. If you don't know what a depot is, it's basically a pedestal for your item. Let's just put that right there. And finally, we'll need some new tech. Tech that we have to study for, which, in my opinion, is becoming one of the worst features of this mod pack. It's so tedious having to do this every single time. We're making a mechanical saw. Here we go. Now we know how to cut logs. And here's the recipe. Another andesite casing, 3 of those iron sheets, and a regular ingot. Now we have a saw. Now, don't be fooled by the saw's inventory animation. The blade isn't moving here because it has no rotational power. We can walk through it, and we won't take damage, but don't walk through a saw blade when it's powered on. If you don't know why, well, just take my word for it. Don't do it. So we have every component we need to make this work. Let's go ahead and set it up. Let's collect our deployers and our depots. It's very simple. We're going to copy this diagram exactly as it's laid out here. A saw, 2 of these cogwheels, and then the electron tube, which we'll apply with our deployers. So step 1, 2, and 3. Place the saw down, which I've done already, add our depots, and then we'll add our deployers. The deployers are empty. We'll go ahead and equip them with the items once this is powered on, which is the tricky part, powering these on. Usually setting up something like this is fairly simple, but I'm missing the items that I usually use. So for now, we'll have to use cogwheels, which, well, I'm not a big fan of. If it were up to me, we'd be using these conveyor belts, which act as pulleys. But because we don't have copper wires or vulcanized rubber, yeah, cogwheels. They'll have to do. Now here it's gonna get a little messy, but what do we do? This is our only option. We'll connect this here, and that powers the deployers, but we still don't have a way of powering our saw. We do, but I hate to do it this way. It's gonna look so messy. We'll just have to use cogwheels again. I think our steam engine's gonna get overstressed. We have too many machines plugged in. And then the last thing we have to do is give our deployers the items. So this one will have the electron tubes. You can see it's got it in its palm there. And this one will have the cogwheels. Okay, folks, it's time to see if this is actually gonna work. My fear is that the machine's gonna get overstressed, but we'll find out shortly. Let's do this. Where is the crank? Here it is. So far so good. And it's overstressed. How did I know that was going to be the case? One less machine for the engine to power. Let's try it now. Moment of truth. There we go. Alright, we're in business. So, let's see here. We're going to take a bronze sheet, put it through the saw. It's going to get processed. And the deployer should have come down and applied the cog to the sheet. Oh, it has to be brass. Darn! Always off. Finally, brass sheet in hand, You can see why I'd confuse it with the broadsheet. They look almost identical. Anyways, let's dump this in. This is going to get processed by our mechanical saw, and once it passes through the saw, you can see that it's now taken a new form. This is an incomplete precision mechanism which only needs the electron tube. Let's go ahead and apply that there, and there it is. The one piece of tech we need to monitor the temperature of our soil. Let's make another one, shall we? You know, I got a feeling that we're going to be heavily dependent on these things, and we may have to make more. But for now, 2 it is. So now that we have our precision mechanism, we can finally make the one item we've been working on, the soil thermometer. And for this one, all we have to do is finish a paper. That and commit some dirt plus a tube of mercury. To make a tube of mercury, we need redstone glass and an iron sheet. That we can do. And there we have it. A tube of mercury. Or mercury body thermometer. With this, we can measure our body's temperature. Don't know how that works. Tells us not to drink it. You know what, that's not important. Let's go use it for our soil thermometer. Please let this be a simple crafting recipe. Okay, that's not that bad. Here we go. 1 soil thermometer. And with this, we can finally check the temperature of our soil. I hope it's not Chinese like in that diagram. Current status, it can grow. This one can grow as well. Although this one is modified by our fertilizer that we added. Most of these. This one can't grow. It's too cold. It grows between 12 to 30 degrees, and it's 2 degrees. Interesting. Same thing with our hemp. It can't grow. It's 2 degrees here, and it grows between 12 and 30. Okay. Plus, it's vulnerable to snow and blizzards. The rest of these are fine. Well, that was informative. Definitely learned a lot from that. At least we know what's going on now. Let's go ahead and add some more growth accelerator. I did notice that this one was at 63, which makes me wonder, does this stack? It doesn't stack. Now for the crops that are too cold, there was a way to warm them up. We had to craft some of these. This mulch stuff, somehow it keeps it warmer, so right now it's at 2 degrees, but if we add the straw mulch, that should raise the temperature. What if we add another? Does it have to be at the temperature already, and then it retains it? I haven't been this puzzled by farming since the Reclamation Modpack. Wait a minute, what the heck just happened? I noticed something. Why did our turnips shrink? Oh, I hope I didn't regress them by putting the mulch down. I just noticed that they were like at 57% and now they're at 0. What just happened? I think we made a mistake. I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch the footage. I don't know what happened there. When in doubt, always check the Modpack Discord. I just discovered something incredibly important. Do you remember that mushroom area that we found? Mushtown all the way over there? Do you also recall that when we were there, the snow was melting? Well, for some reason, and I couldn't tell you why, this area is just naturally warmer. And according to the Discord server, it's the perfect temperature for crops to grow. Hate to say it, I think we're gonna have to relocate everything over there. And boy, do we have a lot to relocate. Oh my god. After everything we've built, yeah, this sucks. So the first problem is trying to figure out how we're going to transfer our entire base over there. The building, well, as beautiful as it is, we're going to have to kiss it goodbye, although I am taking some lanterns and a bunch of other stuff. That aside, we do have all of these items to move. There's no backpack in this mod, so we're going to have to be a little creative. Crates, storage crates, from the Immersive Engineering mod. If I remember correctly, we can actually use these as a type of shulker box. Put the items in, break the block, and the block will retain its inventory. Basically a backpack. At least it worked that way when I was stuck in the back rooms. Will it work that way here? Only one way to find out. The recipe is pretty heavy on iron. Thankfully, we do have some pyrite that we got from our mining expedition. So let's go ahead and crush that into something we can smelt. Did not mean to open that chest. Take a look at that. We're also getting sulfur. Well, the pyrite is smelting into iron ingots. Let's go ahead and see what we can do with that sulfur. We can make gunpowder with it. We can also make sulfuric acid. It also acts as a fertilizer. Okay, sulfur may prove to be useful for us in the future. You put a chest in the middle, iron sheets in each corner, and then iron rods? No, I knew we were going to have that reversed. Wait, no, it's wood. Never mind. Actually, this is better. This is cheaper. 1, 2. Beautiful. All right, we got reinforced storage crates. let's go ahead and put something cheap, like gunpowder. Put the gunpowder inside. You see it's still in there. And when we break the storage crate, look at that. The gunpowder didn't come out. You place the block down and it's still in there. Shulker box, backpack. Our salvation to move all of this stuff to the mushroom territory, which is, oh my god, a lot further than I thought. It's time to dismantle my masterpiece. Okay, I think we have just about everything that matters. You'll notice that there are a few things missing. They're all packed up and ready to go in all of those crates. Let me show you. We have this one full of ores, this one full of food and stone, more wood, create mod blocks, and more etc. So, yeah, let's go ahead and collect them and be on our way. Oh, that's right. Forgot to pack that thing. Okay, now we can leave. Alright, fellas, it's time to go. We're not forgetting anyone, are we? No, I'm pretty sure it was just 3 of us. Don't take damage before we get there. Oh my goodness, these dogs. And here is our ride. Hello. Good to see you again. Hope you two can keep up. Looks like they can keep up. Ladies and gentlemen, we've arrived. This is our new haven. The Mushroom Town. Let's go ahead and park the car right here. Perfect. You just sit right there. And you guys keep him company. Hey, always running off. Okay, we're here. Now, if the Discord server was reliable, then this should be a nice warm spot to farm. Let's just take a look and see if that's actually the case here. Doesn't seem any warmer, unless we actually have to be on the mushrooms. Look at that, my temperature is rising. It's definitely warm right here. Ideal for farming even. Look, the soil's not even frozen. Pretty warm right here. Look at that, 19, 20 degrees. Alright, we're building here. This is our new home. Okay, let's start with something simple like turnips. Come on, grow. According to this, they can't grow because they still need sunlight. Always something. So I moved over here where there is sunlight. The growth status is now showing as ideal. So I think we may be in luck, finally? If that's the case, we're going to have to terraform a little to make more farmland. Well, it's day 100, and finally, our crops are growing. Look at this one. It's only been planted for not even a day. It's at 14%. As for the rest, while they're not showing growth, thermometer is telling me that their growth status is ideal, so they will grow in time. Now for the rest of the base, we're probably going to have to do a cave base hybrid type deal because, well, we left all of our forests on the other side of the world. Not a lot of trees around here. We got some shrubs, but that's about it. So, I'm going to go ahead and start building. I'll see you when it's done. I'd say the setup is coming along just fine. We have most of our machines inside of this massive cavern. Underneath us, the dark depths of this giant underground lake. As for the outside, well, we're still trying to make it nice and cozy. You know what? I think we're succeeding somewhat. We have a little kitchen area here. We have all of our metallurgy and forging stuff over here. And then in this corner, you can see that our crops are finally growing. Some of them fully mature, ready to be harvested, like these beetroots and this rye. Look at this. Even the berry bushes are growing fruit. Finally, on day 102, things are finally turning in our favor. Let's go ahead and harvest, shall we? And with this, the farm expands. Well, folks, I think we're returning to a state of stability. We finally have our finished area. Temporary, of course. We're going to add more, but for now, this is pretty good. This is disconnected, but I can't imagine we're going to be using this a lot. But yeah. Safe to say we're settled in. With a new base of operations and a means of acquiring food, we can finally progress through our progress tree. The next task at hand would be upgrading this boiler. As you can see, we have a bronze boiler and a bronze burning chamber here. They're useful, but they're easily prone to overstressing, especially since we're adding all of these new additions, such as the fan, the press, the mixer. It's a lot of load on this tiny little machine here. To remedy the stress, we're going to have to upgrade it using this, a cast iron steam engine. This is essentially the same thing as what we have, except this one is made out of cast iron. I guess the material is stronger than bronze, which means it can handle more power. So let's get cast iron. To get cast iron like we've done before, we have to cook regular iron in a blast furnace. We only have 10 iron ingots, and, well, as you all know, iron doesn't go very far in this mod pack, so we have to squeeze as much as we can. For us to get the most out of our iron, we're going to have to craft something called crushing wheels. With crushing wheels, we can take one piece of raw iron, pulverize it, gives us one crushed raw iron, and a 50% chance to get a second piece of raw crushed iron. 2 for the price of 1. And of course, when you smelt them, you get a regular iron ingot. So if there's a chance to double our iron output, I say we take it. Wait a minute. We can't research ore crushing yet. There's something else in the way. Boosted research? Are these computers? Oh my god, it was here the whole time. So the mechanical calculator increases computational power? Helps us research. Let's not overthink it. Let's just study this and get one of these. We need 2 of these precision mechanisms. What is this? A rotational speed controller, and then more cast iron cogwheels. We can do that. Let's christen our new setup by finally activating our machines here. Of course, it's overstressed. What do I expect? So this is the setup we're going to be working with. It's a little messy, but this is how you want your mechanical crafter to look. We'll need 4 brass sheets, 2 cogwheels, an electron tube, a precision mechanism, and 2 shafts. Let's go ahead and plug those in. I think we're going to run out of steam before we actually finish this. Here we go. They're being merged together. Pretty soon we'll have our rotational speed controller. Hopefully this works the first try. And naturally, it doesn't. I have no idea why it did that. And it's not working. Why isn't it working? Oh, I'm using bronze again when I should be using brass. Of course. Stupid identical items, making everything so confusing. Okay, this is gonna work. I have a good feeling. There we go. Finally! Why can't I... 1 rotational speed controller. Okay, so before we carry on, there's a blizzard in the forecast, and a lot of these crops are vulnerable to blizzards, so we're gonna go ahead and protect them the best way I know how, and that's just by encasing them. Honestly, we don't have a lot to work with, but this is the only way we can prevent our crops from dying. They're gonna stop growing, but at least they won't be dead. Wait, does that mean they're dead if they stop growing? I don't know. This is it. This is as good as it gets. We'll be back. Hopefully, if we don't load the chunks, then the blizzard won't affect the crops. That's the goal, which is what we also have to do anyway, because we need to go mining again. Aw, man, I forgot. There was a mine shaft over here. Back at the old base. We never explored that. Jackpot, is that that's a forest! Oh my goodness. This area just keeps getting better and better. Looks like wood won't be a problem. You know what would make this area even better? There was a cave entrance in this forest. Well, it's not in the forest, but I'll take it. Yeah, there's the blizzard. Fingers crossed our crops don't die. Well, we're at the deep slate level now. A little worried. That's why I'm worried. Oh my god, I didn't even get it on camera. I almost just died. God, these creepers are spawning out of nowhere. There he is. Ugh. Oh, look at that. The blizzard is finally going away. Wonder if our crops survived. God, they gotta turn the spawn rate down for these things. You know, when I was loading up the game, there was something about digging underneath the bedrock. It was a player tip. And it said that there's something underneath. Not really sure how we'd get under the bedrock, but it's worth investigating. Maybe I misread it, but it said something about finding the ruins of civilization. Should we just dig straight down? See, how are we supposed to get down there? See, traces of humanity lie beneath the bedrock, and the hollows of the, well, I missed it, but you saw it. So, how are we supposed to get down there? Unless there's a portal we have to take? You know what, we'll solve it later. Well, looks like everything is a-okay. I broke the barrier that was protecting our crops here, and turns out they survived. So, thank God for that. Back on track. Let's make a computer. Here we go. 8 cast iron cogwheels, 4 cast iron large cogwheels, our speed controller and 2 of the mechanisms. Now it's time to commit these materials. Very expensive, and it's just gonna suck them up. And they're gone. Stand by what I said. This is the worst feature of the mod pack. And then to research it, we have to submit 8 more cogwheels? Let me see this. Is it actually gonna eat them? Of course it does! Am I exaggerating? I mean, am I supposed to perceive this as cheap? Inexpensive? We have boosted research complete. And that is the crafting recipe to make a mechanical calculator. Oh my god. We're going to be expanding our mechanical crafter grid. It's going to be the biggest setup we've ever had, and because of that, I think it's going to use more power, which is why we have to upgrade this boiler. It's time to make a cast iron steam engine. Plug these last two in, and now let's give it some power. Ah, here it is. Here it comes. Oh my goodness. It's beautiful. A cast iron steam engine. Now we got to make a cast iron flywheel. Just out of curiosity, is this going to overstress it? It does get overstressed. Okay, we're going to have to disconnect some machines, but I think this will work. Well, actually, let's plug this in and see if it's compatible with the bronze one to begin with. If it is, we may be able to get this working. No, it doesn't seem to be compatible, unless I placed it backwards. Yeah, that's not compatible. Alright, we have to make the cast iron one. It's a little more expensive, and by a little, I mean a lot, but what are you gonna do? Should be assembling. There we go. It's getting a little janky now, but we're almost there. Why did it fall apart? I mean, I'm at that point in the pack where I'm not even having fun now. This is just such a chore. Everything in this pack is such a chore. That thing better assemble over there. Finally, we have our cast iron flywheel, thank God. Let's demolish this, get rid of it, plug the new one in. Why does it look exactly the same? Is it supposed to look like this? Is it a shader bug? I don't know. And we'll plug in our new cast iron steam engine, and now they're connected. So now that we have our steam engine upgrades, it means we can finally expand our mechanical crafter setup to make this the mechanical calculator. Look at it. Bask in its glory. I don't think I've ever worked with a mechanical crafter setup this big before. Well, time to plug in the items. A row of treated planks on the top and the bottom. A ton of these cast iron cogwheels, one andesite casing, two of these precision mechanisms, a bell, and of course, two regular pistons. All the ingredients you need to make a computer. I keep calling it a computer, it's a calculator. What's the difference? Come on, it's almost done, can you see it? It's done. Oh my god, it's done, finally. There it is. Mechanical calculator. 0 out of 100 calculation points. Don't know what that's about. We'll have to read into it more. So for the mechanical calculator to work, we're going to have to generate some rotational power. You may notice that there's a port on the side. Well, that's so it can be plugged into the machines. You see, we have a shaft port right here. That's going to connect here. This is going to generate something called calculation points, and I guess the calculation points are going to help us to research more complicated inventions here at the drawing desk. Not really sure how that works and how they're connected, but we can redeem the points somehow. We could go ahead and plug this in, but before we do that, I want to go ahead and upgrade the rest of our setup here. I broke the bronze boiler. We also have a bronze burning chamber. Just in case you forgot, we're upgrading to cast iron, so it only makes sense that we match these other components as well. I also incorporated some cast iron cogwheels because when you incorporate these into the machine, I guess they can tolerate more stress, which means our machines are less likely to freeze. To put it simply, cast iron is the way to go. It's the future, and the next thing we're going to make is a cast iron boiler. All we have to do is use these sheets along with the fluid pipe, and with that, we have a boiler. Not only that, but we'll be making a burning chamber as well to replace our bronze one. Let's go ahead and replace out with the old, and in with the new. I kind of prefer the black color. I'm pretty sure this one can hold more steam and more water. If that's the case, then we should have no problem powering this up to generate calculation points. Look at that. Usually it'd be overstressed by now, but it looks like it's working like a charm so far. We got the steam engine running. The cherry on top would be if this... oh, why did it stop? It would seem our flywheel's burning through the steam faster than we can pump it in, but we can remedy that by adding a large cogwheel here. Okay, let's try this on for size. Should be transferring more steam now. Okay, we've gone ahead and stabilized it. We have a steady transfer rate of steam. We're producing enough steam, and it's being transferred fast enough before the flywheel can burn through it all. All in all, our machine's not coming to a standstill, which is exactly what we wanted. Now, let's plug in our calculator and see if we can actually get some points. Oh my god. I cannot believe you just saw that happen to me. Every time we make progress, there's always something to set us back. Like I was saying before, I almost plummeted to my death. And of course, it's overstressed. That's not good. What if we unplug this? Still overstressed? How much power does this thing use? Okay, folks. It took some time, but I've gone ahead and upgraded our setup here. We have 2 cast iron boilers now. 2 cogwheels, 2 of those boilers over there, all being powered up. Let's see if it can handle the computer now. Here we go. Look at that. It's finally calculating. Well, we're getting a lot of dings here. 20 points already? No way. Is this setup overpowered? All I did was add an identical copy of what we have over here. So how do we redeem them? Am I supposed to plug this in over there? Moment of truth here. We're gonna go to the section with the crushing wheels. I think I get 4 of these. We need points. How am I supposed to contribute points? With the calculator, it's full. Oh, wait. I just click it. 100 out of 4K? So is this supposed to give me, like, a discount or something? I could be wrong, but if we were to get 1,000 of these, we wouldn't have to contribute something like 20 cast iron ingots. Although 4,000 is pretty steep. Somehow we overlooked that you could get another computer. I went ahead and claimed it already. I plugged it in right next to the other calculator. Usually these things would overload our entire steam engine, but thanks to our rotation speed controller, we can actually adjust the RPM. So I've lowered it down to avoid overstressing the system. The only problem is that the system itself, it uses tons of fuel. Like, incredible amounts of fuel. We're gonna have to remedy that. Now, up until this point, we've been using coal coke, and while coal coke is good, we just can't make it fast enough. On top of that, coal coke is made from coal, which is not renewable. As far as I'm aware, the only renewable resource is charcoal, which as we all know comes from wood. We've flirted with the idea of using charcoal as our main fuel source, and now that's looking more and more likely. I think I'm leaning towards the sawdust briquette. For one, getting sawdust is pretty easy. All you have to do is grind logs in a millstone. 2, you soak the sawdust in some creosote oil and you get the briquette, which when heated smelts up to 8 items. That's just as good as a regular piece of coal. Now you may be thinking, double Sal, that's nowhere near as good as coal coke. Coal coke burns way longer, but here's the problem with coal coke. Making it in the coke oven takes forever. So, we're gonna make a tree farm. For this, all we really need are lots of trees. The first step in our quest for infinite fuel is finding a sapling. Actually, no, it's not sinking in the snow. I should really make more snowshoes. Maybe we'll get some saplings from these. Ah, there's sapling number 1. Can we go for sapling number 2? Yes, we can. Sapling number 2 and 3. We'll be on our way in no time. I think I'm going to aim for at least half a stack. I don't know, is that being greedy? 34 saplings, a little more than promised, but in order for this tree farm to work, we have to plant it within the warmth of the mycelium caves. That's the name of this mushroom biome. And, well, the mycelium caves, they're not very large. Any further than this block right here, then we enter the deep slate caves. So, yeah, we have to keep it within the confines of all this. Which means I'm going to have to mine a ton of blocks if I want to fit a tree farm in here. Better get to it. Well, folks, here we are. We expanded our cavern. Up there is where we have our steam engine with the rest of our machines. Down here, it's still a little warm. Not too cold, not too warm, but just right. You know what? I'm thinking about raising the floor 1 block, because check out the difference 1 block makes. Okay, see it says andesite caves? Well, 1 more block, and now we're back in the mycelium caves where it's a little warmer. So, yeah, let's go ahead and raise this 1 block. I want this whole section here to read as mycelium caves. Alright, we have our layer of cobblestone, and now we have a nice even reading that's registering as mycelium caves. Just what we want. So now that we have a space to grow our saplings, the next step is to actually determine whether or not they will grow down here. Let's take a look at the growing information. So, they can survive between -40 to 25 degrees, they grow between 0 and 22, and they grow fastest between 5 and 12. Well, lucky for us, it's a toasty 11 degrees down here, well, between 10 and 11. The only drawback is that these things need sunlight, which is kind of hard to come by underground. So, I was thinking, what if we were to just dig a hole, just straight through the ceiling? I mean, is that crazy? Is that far-fetched? How much sunlight do these things actually need? Well, my friends, we're about to find out. And there we are. Sunlight. Got a nice skylight going on right here. Let's see if the trees like it too. And now, can grow. Look at that, it's perfect. It can grow. I mean, I don't know if that's the ideal status. No, it's not ideal. It'd say ideal, but it can grow. That's what matters. Does it need more sunlight, though? What about these? Yeah, these can grow too. So the sunlight isn't confined to the one block right here. There's actually a radius around it, which is good. If we want to play it safe, though, we're going to have to dig more skylights. For now, we're just going to leave them alone. I want to see if they'll grow before I invest any more time down here. It would be heartbreaking if I made an entire contraption only to find out that the trees won't grow. So we're just leaving them alone for now. So I shifted the plants a little more, and that's when I had a realization. These plants grow between 0 and 22 degrees Celsius, that we know. We know that they grow between 5 to 12 degrees Celsius. Well, I did read that. The only problem is that it didn't click. It's 29 degrees down here. It's, for the first time ever, it's too hot for our plants to be in an ideal climate. You know what can grow in 28 degree weather? The humble oak sapling. This grows fastest between 12 and 24 degrees, which it's still a little too hot down here, but still. It's a lot closer than the 12 degree threshold that these plants have. Of course, the problem lies in finding an oak sapling, something we have yet to do. Thankfully, I did find out that you can discover oak saplings in villages, and while we didn't have any luck back at the first village, lucky for us, there is a second village not far from here. All we have to do is make our way south. Small village, but it's worth a shot. Along the way, I plan on stopping here. I don't know what this is, but this is definitely a structure. Getting there seems pretty straightforward. Hopefully we don't fall into any ice pits. And that, you can barely see it, but I think that is our mystery cabin that we discovered on the map. Let's take a closer look, see if there's anything worth finding in there. Oh my god, if there's oak saplings in there, we're saved. Is there more than just a building? What? Oh, that's probably lava. Yeah, that's lava. Well, here we are. Just way right here. Hopefully this is just a structure and not the house of some type of enemy. And it's already open. And there's snow inside, so that means nobody's home. It's kind of cozy in here, though. Although, to be honest, I'm not feeling that confident about discovering anything worthwhile. Got some beds. Well, we can take a bed. We've been sleeping in sleeping bags for the longest time. So far, a little underwhelming. There is a chest here, though. And it's more food, of course. Come on, there's gotta be like a secret basement or something. No, the whole building is raised. Oh, well that sucks. What about the bow? Is the bow at least full durability? It is full durability, as is the axe. Nice. Yep, this looks like everything. Quite the view, though, wow. Well, at least we have more food. Next stop, the village. Whoa, whoa! That is a lot of drowned. Have we even seen drowned in this video yet? Is there any point in engaging them, though? Probably not. Polar bear, and he sees us. Lucky for him, we're not starving, otherwise he'd be dinner. Right, we're coming up on the village now. Fingers crossed there are saplings here. Not saplings, but something just as good. Birds! And not just birds. Oh my gosh. Cows? There are cows here? Alright, we have to go out of our way to preserve this. Please tell me that the cows are attracted to rye. Doesn't look like they are. Are you? No, you don't seem to care much for it. Well, you, my friend, are going to be trapped. Can't afford to lose someone as valuable as you. Stay right here in this box. There. We got a villager, he's unemployed, and he has nothing in his house, but we're going to keep him alive. We're going to keep them all alive, unlike that other village. You're unemployed as well. What about you? Why are they all always unemployed? A chest. A chance. No! Just more food. Can't believe I thought I'd actually cringe at the idea of getting more food. What about here? More food. Nothing but compressed biscuits and pumpkin seeds, which I will take. Folks, we're running out of buildings. The librarian, we'll trap you. And, an intellectual. No saplings, only books. We also got the 2-story house. Maybe, just maybe? Okay. We have saplings, just not the kind we want. Then again, we are in a snowy biome, so it would make sense that they have snowy saplings. That seems to be it. Wait, there's another house over here. Empty as well. What about you? Oh! I've never seen the trading interface on this mod pack before, and it's a lot. I'm gonna do you guys a favor and trap you in here. You'll thank me later. Well, hey. This is for your own good. You guys have a habit of drowning yourselves in snow. Well, aside from getting more food and discovering cows and chickens, this was a bust. On top of that, I don't even know if the chickens are still around. Did they go away? No, they're still here. A fowl. They do seem drawn in by seeds, though. How far are we? We're pretty far. I can make a cage, though. Although I have to research it. Is there another one? There is another one. Alright, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna trap these chickens here at the village, and once we study cages, we'll relocate them back at the house. But for now, we're gonna make this village a secondary outpost. One where we'll have both chicken and cow. Well, I should call them fowl, because that's what they are. But come on, they're chickens. They're retextured chickens. Alright, fellas, work with me and you'll eat well. Come on. So, whose house do we store these in? I'm thinking that one. And you'll just, hang out here. And Junior, you'll tend to them. No! Not a chicken fan, huh? Well, you gotta make up your mind. There. Home sweet home. Let's see if anything actually grew while we were gone. Fingers crossed. No. Looks like nothing has changed since we left. Huh. Well, to be fair, we haven't been gone that long, so... Alright, we're not cutting the search off early. The tree has yet to grow, and I have nothing better to do, so we're gonna go and search for more oak trees. Somebody on the Discord said that oak trees just randomly grow alongside rivers. Don't know if that's the case for every single oak tree, but in his experience, that's where he found them. No way! Already? Wow! Look at that, it's shining like a beacon of hope, this oak tree right here. We are saved. You're coming with me. I know it's as simple as just chopping the tree down, but something inside me is saying that we can screw this up horribly. I don't know how. Oh well, only one thing left to do. That's just to go for it. If this thing doesn't drop a single sapling, I'm done. Huh. 3 saplings. I will take it. No! 7 saplings. Oh my god. Alright, we're in business. Do I get greedy and look for another? If luck is on my side, we'll find another. Wow, there are a lot of forests over here, actually. Biggest ones I've seen so far. You know what? Let's not get greedy. I'm going back. I got 8 saplings. How many more do I need? This is enough to get us started. We are back. We have saplings. We have hope. And that's what's going to get us to the end of this mod pack. That and an industrial tree farm. Let's get these things out of here. So our climate is at a toasty 28 degrees, 29, 30 degrees. Ooh, that's actually kind of hot. What if we move a little to the shade? Does it get cooler? Oh, it gets even hotter. Why is it so hot down here now? Well, up here it's only 26 degrees. 27 actually. 28? It doesn't matter. These things grow fastest between 12 and 24, so we gotta make it 24 degrees somehow. Actually, turns out we don't have to do anything. Except wait for the time to shift. It's 5 o'clock, and naturally, as the sun sets, the weather drops in temperature, so we're set! The growth status is ideal. Perfect! If one of these trees grows in the next 10 minutes, we're golden. And I'm not moving from this spot until that happens. It's daytime. Don't see a lot of progress here. I don't get it. We've given them sunlight, we've given them fertilizer, we've given them a warm cave, yet they refuse to grow. I added more saplings. I don't know how that's gonna help, but I feel like it'll help. Oh my god, it finally happened. Finally! Oh my goodness, that's a relief. I was beginning to think that this wasn't gonna happen. Leaves look a little dry, but you know what? It's a tree. I'll take it. Sheepscat only drop 1 sapling. Oh, 2 saplings actually. So now that we know that the trees can actually grow down here, it's time to make a device that's gonna chop them down automatically. Before I show you what we're gonna use, I'm just gonna go out on a limb and assume that we have to study it. So let's go to the table, see if there's anything we have to do before I get my hopes up, shall we? Yep, just as I thought. I'm gonna design moving structures. Essentially, a giant machine that can move back and forth with saws attached to it. The The saws are going to cut right through the trunks of the trees, collecting every sapling and piece of wood that it drops. It's got to be pretty cool if we can get it to work, so let's go ahead and study that. Thank God it only cost 8 redstone dust. Haha, alright, we got it. We've unlocked gantry shafts, clockwork bearings, super glue, and gantry carriage. Okay folks, so the first thing we're going to craft is something called a gantry shaft. 3 of those rods in the middle, 2 redstone, and then in each corner, some planks. Gives you 3 of them, but we'll want more than 3. Next we'll need a gantry carriage. This is going to be what carries our device back and forth. There it is. Interesting looking block if you take a look at it. Let's place down the gantry shaft so you can see here. So essentially this is like a, what would I describe this as? It links to the gantry shaft, and the carriage is going to carry 2 saws. We're going to glue them here. Now we need a means of powering this, which leads me to believe that we're going to have to recycle our bronze steam engine. We still have those components. We'll have to put them to use down there. Have any more trees grown? Oh, our trees are growing. Yeah, we got to get to it. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to keep this nice and simple. We're going to treat this like a hypothetical. We're going to start with our saws. They will be facing this way, like that. We'll have a row of 3, and then they'll be connected via a linear chassis. Now, the linear chassis doesn't really mean much until we glue everything together. Next, the gantry carriage. This is the only piece of item that does have glue, which you can tell because it has some green goo on it. Place that. Well, we should be able to place it right there, but we can't. Hold on. Okay, here we go. Beautiful. We'll shift this over. There we go, much better. And then the gantry shaft will run this along the length of the trees. Just like that. And then from there, all we have to do is assemble the same steam engine that we had before. I'm talking about our classic bronze steam engine and flywheel, which in my opinion look better than the other ones. Haven't really changed much aside from adding the steam engine, which you are already aware of, so I didn't really feel the need to record that part on camera. We built this multiple times already. What I do want to show you is the redstone aspect. You see, the gantry has to be able to change direction. This is called a gear shift. The gear shift changes the direction of the rotation. For example, if we put on a lever and flip it, it's going to rotate counterclockwise. If we flip it again, you're back to clockwise. Now that's important because the direction of the rotation determines where the gantry carriage moves. Let me show you. So we're going to go ahead and add some fuel in here, turn this on. There we go. Alright, so the engine is running. Let's go ahead and apply a redstone signal. Now, in 15 seconds, that's what this pulse repeater does. It's going to send a signal to this toggle latch. This toggle latch will then send a signal to the gear shift, causing it to change the direction of the rotation. It's going clockwise. Oh, the lever just switched, and now it's going counterclockwise, causing the gantry carriage to move. In 15 seconds, well, less than that now, it's going to flip the switch again. This is going to deactivate, and the gantry shaft will go back to rotating clockwise. Here we go, and there it is. You can tell because it's not glowing anymore. If that's a little hard to follow, sorry, but that's just how it works. Clockwise means backwards, counterclockwise is forwards. To dictate the direction, this lever has to flip a switch, and well, there it goes. Happens every 15 seconds. This pulse repeater, let me explain the pulse repeater. Basically the way it works is you can dictate how long you want your redstone interval to be by moving the slider. I have it set to 15 seconds because that's the length it takes for this to clear the entire length of the gantry shaft here. And this is only activated by the redstone signal that's cycling back and forth. Very simple redstone loop, one of the first ones any Minecrafter knows. It's the only one I know, so if it works, why change it? That's about it. All we have to do now is attach our saw blades, which I went ahead and removed. Right now, this is awkwardly moving 1 block of wood, and that's due to the fact that, like I said before, only this block has glue on it. Speaking of glue, we gotta make glue. To get glue, we're gonna need 2 slime balls, an iron sheet, and an iron nugget. Now, I'm not so worried about the iron. My main concern is getting the slime ball. we have yet to see any slimes. But for some reason, if we combine sand and gravel with a name tag, it gives you a slime ball? Also works with gravel bricks. I have no idea what mod added that crafting recipe, but if we can craft name tags, then we're in business. And we cannot. Well, there is one more method of getting slime balls, and that's by combining dough with green dye. Well, lime dye, to be exact. To get lime dye, we're going to have to combine green dye with white dye, that you know. We all know how to mix colors. The difficult part is getting a dough ball. Dough balls are usually easy to obtain if you have flour and a water bucket. The only problem is that flour comes from wheat, a crop we have yet to grow because, well, I haven't found any wheat seeds. So far, all the seeds we've gathered have been by defrosting frozen seeds, which I still have a couple of. So let's cross our fingers and hope we get a wheat seed the first try. If not, it's gonna be a long journey to find some. We have 8 frozen seeds. Let's start a fire. Okay, my friends, fingers crossed we get wheat seeds. If not, I don't even want to think about it. Oh my god, what are the odds? We still have 4 more. Can we go for 2? Come to think of it, have we gotten wheat seeds before? Picking these up, it should have triggered something. Alright, so how does wheat differ from rye? So according to the soil thermometer, this is the ideal condition for wheat to grow, so we don't have to worry about that. What we do have to worry about is the length of time it's going to take to grow. Usually, when I'm waiting for something, it takes its time. Well, while we're waiting for that, let's go chop trees down the old-fashioned way. Maybe we'll get more saplings and expand our farm. We're probably gonna have to expand our skylight. That took a minute to dig out, but it's pretty essential. I don't know if you can see it. There are tiny little holes where the sky's poking through. We need more of that, otherwise these things won't grow. Who knows how long it's going to take for the wheat to grow, so while we're waiting, let's stay productive. I think it's time we finally upgrade our base to make it a little more comfortable. I don't know about you, but sleeping in caves doesn't really do it for me. Unless we do it right. I'm thinking since we're limited on resources, specifically wood, we build this out of stone. Kinda like a bunker. Yeah, big bunker deep in the mountain. Okay, so here's what we have so far. First of all, the crop, it's kind of growing, 43%, it's almost halfway there. Anyway, I made this like pillbox design, you know, a bunker sticking out of the side of the mountain here, and then it occurred to me, what if we were just to do a multi-tiered build of that? Just multiple floors. Let me show you the floor. It's not that big, but all the more reason to add more floors. Imagine if we were able to grow our crops here, which we can. Actually, I think it'd be better if we did it at the top floor since they need sunlight, but this floor space right here is just about as big, if not bigger, than the farm we have down there. So I think we're gonna take it all the way to the top, and then each floor could have a different purpose. That would be amazing. Of course, it's going to call for more mining, plus we need a means of getting up here. So let's keep it simple. I'm just going to do ladders. Yeah, what kind of ladders do we want? We could go with andesite ladders. They're pretty simple, and all we need is 1 andesite alloy, which you put in a stone cutter, gives you 2 ladder pieces. And making the alloys pretty cheap. All you have to do is combine 2 andesite with either iron nuggets or zinc nuggets. You get twice as many if you make them in a mixer. Let's do that. Let's go ahead and make some andesite alloys. We won't even bother powering up the steam engine. For something like this, all you have to do is just turn the hand crank. Alright, let's go ahead and make some andesite ladders, which I think you can get for a steal. This is very generous. Alright, we'll put the ladders just like this. Beautiful. And then we should really install some glass here. Wow, that's a view! Oh my gosh! Yeah, we're taking this to the top. That's the plan now. Get away, I'm trying to build. Ugh. Okay, here we are. The very top, well, almost the top. It doesn't really do it justice because it's nighttime, but let's go to bed. You'll see. Good morning. Okay, let me show you what we got here. So, we have realized our plans. As you can see, we have a multi-tiered house here. Not really sure if it fits the Frostpunk vibe, but it's certainly not of this world. Let's take a little tour, shall we? First floor, like you saw last time, empty. Not a lot going on here. Plus, we added some vertical frame glass panes. Nothing too crazy. All you have to do is just make a regular glass, and then you put it in a stone cutter, and you get this variation from the Create mod. I like it. I like how they look like panels. The next floor is identical to the first floor. You can sleep here, you can put whatever you want, more or less the same, but the view is just as spectacular. Onto the third floor. Also, my chest plate broke. We're gonna have to remedy that. Alright, so the third floor is almost identical. The view is really good, but where it differs is that it's much larger. And as you can see, it leads out to this back area, which will make a perfect farm because we have sunlight pouring down into this beautiful flat area. Oh my god! This is all still considered mycelium caves, and it's a nice flat plane so we can have a garden up here. I love that there's already water. It's like the perfect little farm grotto area thing, whatever you want to call it. It's really tranquil, minus the creepers, of course. We'll have to remedy that with torches, but aside from that, there's another one. There's another one. This is it. This is our base for now. It's time to move our stuff in. I do plan on keeping some of the other stuff outside still, like some of the larger coke ovens, you know, our alloy forge and all that. But we can sleep in here, and I think we're gonna soon install, like, steam pipes and stuff, but let's go check on our wheat, which I'm confident is fully matured. Look at that. It's grown, which means we can finally get some flour. So getting flour is very simple. All you gotta do is throw the wheat in there, and then you grind it. Oh, well. Not when it's overstressed. And then you grind it. Perfect. And in a couple of seconds, that wheat will be pulverized into some nice flour. Ideal for baking the perfect bread. But for our purposes, we're going to be using this for something else. We're going to take a bucket of water. And when you combine the bucket of water with the wheat, usually you get a dough ball, but I guess it has to be an iron bucket, which I think I have, but I don't feel like looking for it. So instead, we're going to do the alternative. We're going to pour the water into the basin, toss in our wheat flour, and now we mix. The result should be a very plain dough ball, which, now that we have it, is going to act as the base for our slime ball. All we got to do now is find some lime dye. To get lime dye, we have a few options. We could smelt a sea pickle. We could pulverize flowers, which I'm confident aren't growing on this frozen world. We also have the option to combine white dye with green dye. Although, if we want green dye, we kind of run into the same problem, because I'm confident there's no cactus on this planet either. Or cacti. Hold on. There is hope. We can crush nickel. Yeah, you put nickel in a millstone, that gives you 4 green dye. Perfect. And then for the white dye, we'll probably just make that out of bone meal, which I'm sure is a recipe in here. It better be a recipe in here. And God, there goes the rest of my armor. We have raw zinc. Will this work? It has to be crushed. Oh, and that's gonna be a little tricky because we don't have crushing wheels yet. You know what? I think we're just gonna bite the bullet and get the crushing wheels. It seems like all of the recipes I want are stuck behind that crushing wheel paywall, and I've been intimidated to tackle it because we still have to use the calculator. And it requires 4,000 tech points. We only have 1,060. I wonder, hold on, I'm gonna try something here. If we were to lower this down to 1, and I were to rotate it with a hand crank, would it be overstressed? Most likely it will be. What? It works! Not sure if we're generating anything, though. You hear that? You hear that clicking noise? So it's working, but it's too slow. What if we took it to 3? Still works at 3. All right, let's take it to 6. No, 6 is the max. 5? No. 4? Nope. It maxes out at 3. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the purpose of this test was to determine whether or not we could rotate this with minimum stress. And it would seem that is the case. With a speed of 3 RPM, and that's just with hand crank power, we can generate tech points, at least I think. So, instead of burning calories, why don't we plug this into our basic steam engine downstairs and see how far we can get with that. It's going to come at the cost of some fuel, but at this point, do we really have a choice? We'll lower this down to 1 RPM. We don't want to overstress it on the get-go. Now all we have to do is add fuel, and we'll test it, see how far we can get with that. The point is, we got to generate points. We have to generate points, otherwise that crushing wheel stuff isn't getting done. The engine is running on its own. Perfect. We have water flowing in. We have heat in there. Set to 1. Let's raise it to 2. So far, it's working. We're not generating tons of points. Well, we're not generating any at all yet. But let's see if it can handle 4. It's handling 4 just nicely. Did you hear that ding? So if it wasn't clear, there's this slider right here. It starts on the right side. Once it makes its way all the way to the left side, then we get a point. Or 10 points. Oh, there. You saw it shift. Let's raise it to 6. Can we do 6? We can do 6. All right, we're at 384 SU so far. 7. We can tolerate 7, and we just generated 20 calculation points, by the way. That's perfect. Let's see if we can raise it to 12. It works at 12. Guys, I think we're actually good. 16. Can I do 16? No, we can't do 16. Okay, it works at 13. So 13 is the max. Can't go any further than 13. This can tolerate... Our system here can tolerate 832 stress units. We've so far totaled 60 calculation points. Can we generate twice as many points if we add a second one? Well, the answer is yes. Although, we may have to cut this by half, because I'm pretty sure this one is going to overstress it for sure. Now, I'm not big on math, but would we really be generating points twice as fast if we cut the rotation in half? Okay, yeah, that overstresses it. It's at 13, so I'm thinking 6? Yeah, we can do 6. So long as this thing has fuel, we're going to be generating more points, hence the reason we set this up. But I think this is going to be on hold because we don't have any glue to make this work. So I'm hoping that the amount of coal coke we have in here will carry us over, at least until we can get crushing wheels to make our glue. The most annoying part is having to collect this manually. Every time I want my points to go to my research desk, I have to click them. Luckily for us, they've added a means of automatically sending the points to the table without having to come in contact with these calculators. And to send those points, we're going to need something called a rubbing tool. To keep it short and sweet, this is for auto-collecting research points. To make a rubbing tool, we're first going to have to craft a rubbing pad, which is made out of a cast iron ingot and a cast iron sheet. Let's not wait any longer and go collect those. Wow, this is actually kind of slow. Maybe we should just stick with one. Short and sweet, we'll make 2 of them because we have 2 machines, and then after that we combine them with generator ash and a piece of paper to make the rubbing tool. Oh, we even completed a chapter. Lovely. So now that we have these, we have to assign them to research. If we just put them on the calculator, it's not going to work. So, let's go to the research table. Mind you, this is my first time doing this, so hopefully I get it right the first time. But how do I assign this to the research table? Oh, we have to inspect it. Please don't consume this. Okay, so it's linked to ore crushing, and this one is also linked to ore crushing. Yeah, don't forget to click that magnifying glass. Now that we have these, let's go ahead and just stick them on here. I think that's what you do. Right? No. How do you apply these? When installed on mechanical arm? We have to make a mechanical arm. This was unexpected. How is that going to work? For those of you who don't know, the mechanical arm is nothing to be intimidated over. It's basically an arm that you'd see in a factory. Moves things from point A to point B, which is probably what we're going to do here. So the mechanical arm would be between the table and the calculator, holding the rubbing pad. It would click the calculator and then transfer the pad to the drawing desk, and then click the calculator again? I'm not sure. But we'll have to figure it out, so let's go craft one of those. Okay, let's do this. The mechanical arm also uses kinetic energy, so I'm pretty sure that if we tack this onto that setup down there, we're gonna overstress everything again. Knowing that, plus we're down to 13 coal. We better make the most of this. I'm gonna take this off right now. Here's what it looks like. You may notice that at the bottom there is a cog shape. Well, that's where you're supposed to connect it. Do I have any cog wheels on me? I do. Alright, so let's just place that there, and, well, there's the connection right there. There's no target, though. Usually you assign it to depots, but there's no depots here. Am I gonna have to go on the Discord again? I think I am. Alright, give me 1 second. Well, folks, when in doubt, check the Discord, because it's a mistranslation. It says right there that we have to use a mechanical arm, but the truth is that we don't use the mechanical arm. No. Leave it to the mod makers to make this here. It makes me wonder how many other mistranslations there are. That's probably why we struggle so much. You know what? Let's take a little accountability. A lot of our faults are our own, but that's besides the point. we need to use a deployer. If you forgot what the deployers are, they're these things. Remember? We use these to make our precision mechanisms right here. You put things in their hand, and then they click, and they make something happen. In this case, we're supposed to take our rubbing tools, put them in the hands of the deployer, and I assume it's supposed to click the mechanical calculator. So, let's go connect this and see if we can make any progress. I'm confident that we will. Not the right orientation, but with the wrench you can actually rotate it, make it how you want to be. There we go. And then we'll put the rubbing tool, it's still assigned to ore crushing. Let's put it in the hand right there. Bam! That did nothing. I assumed that it was going to collect it, but we're still at 80 points here. Unless it collects it when it's full. There we go. Yeah, that's what it is. It's got to collect it when it's at 100. Okay, so it just collected them. And I don't think they're automatically sent to the drawing desk. Let me see. 1,460. I think that's what we had last time. I have a theory that the points are stored in there. Well, once we have enough points, we can just collect them and we just unload them into the drawing desk. So yeah, nice little cache for our points here. So it's got 100 points in here, but there's a limited durability. So now that we have that figured out, I guess all we have to do is keep the fire burning. Better see to it that we get more coal. Wish we could have Fortune 2. Can we craft Fortune 2? Sometimes in mod packs you can craft the books. There is what looks like a recipe for Fortune 1? No, that's a quest. What quest is this? You know what, let's bite the bullet. We're gonna have to make an enchanting table too. We need coal. Lots of it. We can't really do the fuel machine right now, which was the original plan, but plans change. But if we have a pickaxe with Fortune 2 and we mine coal, well, that may improve our outlook. Now to get the enchanting table, we're gonna have to do a little research. No surprise there. We'll have to commit 1 diamond, 4 lapis, and 4 pieces of paper. We have all those things, so it shouldn't be difficult. Let's go ahead and get those materials. My main concern is actually getting the bookshelves to max it out, although I'm not sure if you need max enchanting levels to get Fortune 2, do you? And that's this puzzle complete. Alright, let's go steal some books, shall we? Strike that. I think we're gonna make our own bookshelf. I just realized that if I go out there, I'm gonna freeze to death. All my armor's gone. So, yeah, that's a no-go until we get some warm clothes to put on. Lucky for us, we still have plenty of raw hide, plus some of these wolf hides. If we process these, make them into leather, we may be able to make enough books for 1 bookshelf. All I gotta do is find the tanning racks. I hope I brought those with me. If not, we're gonna have to make more, but they were pretty cheap. Okay, tanning rack, just a little refresher. You place this down, you put down the rawhide, and then we just process it like that? No way, that was way easier than I thought it'd be. Usually books are pretty cheap to make, but here, oh my god, they are worth more than gold. And with that, you have 1 bookshelf. Here we go. Goodbye. Oh! It actually let me keep it. You know what, while we're on the topic of researching, let's go ahead and research something a little warm so that we don't freeze when we go to the village. Wool clothes. There we are. We actually have to study how to make clothing. So for this we need 1 piece of wool. Uh-oh. Do we even have 1 piece of wool? Can we craft 1 piece of wool? I thought you could make wool from string. Am I mistaken? Alright, here's what we'll do. I'm gonna test how long it takes for me to freeze once I'm out of the warmth of the mycelium caves. If I don't freeze, then I think we can make it to that 1 cabin that we found. Hopefully there's some wool stuff in there. I seem to be faring pretty well. My body temperature's dropping, but nothing lethal. It's probably thanks to these things. Yeah, I got my linings keeping me warm, plus I got mittens. Yeah. Let's go to bed, and then in the morning, we'll go to the village. You know what? May as well make use of it. We have it already. It's time to spend our first night in our house. Look at that morning sunrise. You actually can't see it. I have a weapon, some water, and compressed biscuits. I think we'll be fine. Let's go find some wool and come back with bookshelves. I think there's some wool here, and if not here, then there's definitely some wool at the village. Where is the village? Ah, here. Alright, let's go. Okay, fingers crossed. I know there's bookshelves in there, so at least we won't leave empty-handed. Come on, wool. We have carpet. Can we do anything with carpet? Nope. At least there's books. We're taking the books, we're taking the lanterns, we're taking the dolium. What's a dolium? It's another cooking station. Wait, this is resting conversion. What is this? Aspic setting? Isn't aspic like hard soup? We can make portable soup with this. That and a number of other things. This is coming home with us too. I'm dying to find out if our cows and chickens are still alive. It's gonna be a miracle if they are. I was talking to someone on the Discord server, and according to them, cows shouldn't spawn. None of the vanilla animals should spawn. So the fact that we found one is either pure luck or pure glitch. Look at that, he's still alive. Amazing. What about the one over here? Yes, he's in here too. I can hear it mooing. Alright, we're good, we're good. We are here for wool. Where is our wool? Still no signs of wool. You know what? This may not be the type of village that has it. We may find wool over there. Something about this iceberg is a little different. For some reason. Unless this is just the village fusing with the iceberg, which, yeah, it is. I thought there was something in the ice. It's the path. The world generation generated a village path on the ice, and it looks like there's like shipwreck ruins now. Thank God. We have bookshelves though. You know, on the topic of ruins and things being buried in ice, I'm pretty sure there are things like that. We'd have to go prospecting, and there are tools to accomplish that. It's just something to note. Maybe we'll give it a try later. I mean, imagine if we were to find some like massive buried city under the ice. That would be phenomenal. Yeah, I just read that wool's not that easy to get, so I think we'll skip that and just go about this naked. Oh well, back to base. Look how amazing that looks when we make the turn here. Oh, I love it. Looks like civilization. Alright, fellas, thank you for joining me. Let's go. Got our bookshelves. Let's go ahead and make the enchanting table. And now that we have this, I think we should go ahead and put it inside the house. It doesn't really have a lot of furniture yet. We'll do it on the next floor, actually. Right here. Perfect. That should be enough, right? I hope so. Here we go. Level 30. I'll take it. Fortune 3? Already? Can't be greedy about this. We definitely need a diamond pickaxe, because we don't have mending. Now, if we put it on this iron axe... Well, wait a minute. We can repair these. If I repair it, do I lose the enchantment? Definitely a lot to think about. Plus, I don't even have the levels to get that. Alright, we're at level 29. I think we can scrape up some levels if we do a little bit of mining. Strike that, we may not have to do any mining at all. I took a look at the drawing desk. Turns out there's a way to get XP here. All we have to do is study. It's called self-reflection. And the reward for completing a common paper? 250 experience points. I don't know about you, but I think that's more than enough. Let's give it a try. Oh, it requires tech points. That's fine. Let's see how far we can get with this. Okay, so with that out of the way, we're 85% of the way there. We only need 300 tech points. Okay, so I figured that's how it worked. So we didn't have to get 2,000 tech points to complete this. Just completing one of the clues, the common paper, that gave us 1,700 already. So we only need 300 more. Knowing that, we can probably apply the same logic to ore crushing. If we were to finish 2 common papers, which equal 80%, well then that's going to complete the task. We don't need 4,000 points. We just need enough to carry us over the edge once we complete the clues down here, which I think this is more than enough. That's already 25% of the way there. Let's go collect some of our calculation points here, see if it actually gets Yep, 90% of the way there. 20 points. This is it. This is all we need. Bam! So, did we get the XP? Let's find out. Claim reward. Beautiful! That puts us to 31 levels. Oh my goodness, which means we can finally get some Fortune 3. I've made a decision. As a result of my impatient nature, I've decided that we're going to go ahead and move forward with enchanting the iron pickaxe. Reason being, I only have 2 diamonds, and I can't be bothered to find a third. We've come this far, and honestly, I'm ready to move forward. We've been stuck trying to get crushing wheels for the longest time, and now we have a chance of actually getting them. Do we pursue this? I think we do. Fortune 3 is guaranteed. The gamble is whether or not we'll keep that enchantment once we repair the pickaxe in the Tetra table. It's a chance I'm willing to take. Here we go. And there it is. We got Fortune 3. Hopefully we got him breaking. Did we? We got him breaking. Nice. And now that we have Fortune 3, what better way to christen this pickaxe than by mining a piece of coal? How many pieces of coal do you think we'll get from this? I'm hoping at least 2 or 3. 4? We're in business now. This is incredible. We have 13 pieces of coal. Oh my god, we're gonna die. From only a few blocks, we got 20 pieces of coal. This is perfect. And I'm pretty sure there are more coal deposits down here. Oh, look at that, there are. But it's not just coal. It's every single ore. Like this iron ore right here. How many are we gonna get from this? Actually, that one was a little underwhelming. I think the coal yields better. Why stop there, though? There are plenty of exposed coal deposits like here. Oh, jeez. Alright, the blizzard's coming out, and I have no warm clothes. Time to get back to the house. That's why you move your plants. Oh my god. They're all dead. Good thing we collected the rest of them. And there it is. We have ore crushing. That's the crafting recipe for crushing wheels. Cast iron. Even towards the end, we never get a break. At least it makes 2 of them. Although we can't really go mining right now while it's pouring snow and death. Oh my gosh! Thank God the blizzard is over. Which means we can go mining for more of that iron that we need. So if we're gonna go mining, well, obviously we can't go out like this. We need something warm. That blizzard nearly killed me on the last expedition. We do happen to have a few options. You can go with hide, wolf fur, polar bear fur. If we're really desperate, we can make clothing out of hay. Which, honestly, it's worth considering, although I don't have that much hay laying around anymore. I do, however, have wolf hide, a little bit of leather, and plenty of rawhide. We're doing the hide jackets. Here we go. Bam! We have 1 hide jacket. Now, does this go on like a chest plate? It does go on like a chest plate. Gives you 3 armor. Next, we'll make a wolf fur hat. If you told me that was an iron helmet, I'd believe you. At least we'll be warm. And then finally, we cannot go out there without any pants. So, let's see if we can get enough vines. We'll convert them into hay. Probably very itchy, but better than freezing to death. So now we have a very interesting appearance. Kind of look like a scarecrow. But you know what? That doesn't matter. What matters is now it's finally time to put this pickaxe to work. We need iron for our crushing wheels. So, let's get mining. This seems promising. Very promising. We run into cave spiders, we're done for. We don't really have armor. Oh, but this is why we came here. Maybe I'm speaking too soon, but I've noticed an unusual lack of creepers down here. Wonder why that is. Not that I'm complaining, of course. It's just a little unnerving, not knowing when they're gonna blow up. Let's swim down there. We can probably survive. Oh, I didn't get it on camera. 2 just blew up right now. We have to be on our toes. There's another. Do not blow up that iron deposit, please. I'm begging you. Oh my gosh! Look at this! Jeez, there's 3 right there. Okay, I think we're good for now. There's a lot of iron down here, folks. We're gonna come out richer than we've ever been. How's that for a resource haul? Alright, it's time to stop being messy. We're gonna start moving stuff up here now, and this is where we're gonna birth our crushing wheels. Right here at the very top. Time to show you the new setup, which is essentially the old setup but relocated here on the upper level. We have our newer cast iron boiler connected to our flywheel here, and that is connected to this, our mechanical crafter, where I have each cast iron ingot in place. All I have to do now is apply the rest of the blocks, and pretty soon we'll have ourselves some crushing wheels. Let me show you some other additions I made. You see, my main concern always when it comes to these boilers is overstressing them. Now, usually, because this is connected to the boiler, if I were to turn this crank, which is what we need to do to jumpstart it, this would get overstressed. There's too many cogs here, it's too much strain on this one little hand crank. But if you add this is called a clutch. You can actually cut off the rotational power so that it's not connected to the crafter. Let me show you how it works. This one is in the way. We have a clutch back here. Alright, so this right here is the cutoff point, right next to the flywheel. Thanks to the clutch, if I were to flip this on, then the rotational power would transfer to this cogwheel, which is connected to the crafter. Then it would be powered. Let me show you. So this is with the clutch off. The power is flowing through. Hypothetically, I can't turn it. It's overstressed because this one crank is trying to turn to move all of these cogs, even the ones inside of the crafter. But if we were to cut the crafter off by flipping the clutch, now the clutch is powered on, this is cut off, now we can turn the hand crank. Now why is that important? Because it just makes life a whole lot easier. Every time I want to jumpstart this, I don't have to break a cog to disconnect this. I get to choose where the power goes when I want it. So, in this case, let's power this on. We'll hear sizzling right now. The flywheel is turning, the power is on, and now that the engine can support itself, we can then funnel power in to the mechanical crafter. Let's flip the switch on. There we go. Now we have power being routed into the crafter and our crushing wheels are being put together. Hopefully I get it right the first time. Please don't explode. Thank God. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the crushing wheels. And my oh my, they are an impressive sight, aren't they? Let's power this off. Let's lay them out on the wall here. These crushing wheels live up to the name. They are massive stone wheels that will crush anything, including me, if I were to unfortunately fall between them. Yeah, this is instant death if you fall between these wheels while they're powered on, so don't do that. Anyways, we're not here to crush me, we are here to crush ore. All we have to do is figure out how we're going to incorporate this into the greater build, and I have a feeling we're going to involve the clutch to do that. Okay folks, here it is. The base. And oh my gosh, it's so much nicer than it was before. Pretty happy we ended up with something that looked a little habitable because we're at the end of this video, and honestly, if we were gonna cut it off down there living in that mushroom area, that would have been bad. No, we actually have something that resembles a home or a factory. Whatever, it's walls and a roof, and that's what counts. So you want to see these things in action if you haven't been here before, and it's pretty interesting. Flip this on, and the crushing wheels are going the wrong way. Hold on, let's flip this gear switch. There we go. Perfect. All is well. Let's take our raw zinc, climb the scaffolding, and then from here, it's as simple as just dropping it between the crushing wheels, and the result should be crushed zinc. And there it is, and what is that?